Hello and welcome to another blog. In this video I will be showing you how you can safely overtake a vehicle, and in your real life what are the consequences if you don't overtake properly, and also in your driving test if you don't overtake properly, what could cause the serious fault. Remember, this is a series for serious fault, and if you simply follow these steps you will, and you have a very good chance of passing the test. There's so many videos outside where you can see the driving trainers are going out with learners, and they're very good trainers, obviously making very good videos, and you can look on those videos and where the learners are making the serious faults. But I'm just going to keep it very simple for you so you can understand. If you avoid these simple serious faults, then you can pass your test. But in your real life you could be a safe driver. So let's just go to this video. In driving, what we see is, if you look at the highway code, it says you need to keep a minimum of 2 seconds gap at least from the vehicle on the front. What are the benefit of 2 seconds gap? I can give you a classic example of, there's a van ahead of you and you're about to overtake this van. If you get too close to the van over here, let's say you're too close to this van and you're not keeping enough gap, you won't be able to see the car ahead of this van. Your view is going to be restricted in this particular area. But if you keep a safe gap from this van, which is you pulling back to about 2 seconds gap, then you would be able to see everything ahead of that van and what's happening ahead of this particular van, which there could be cars braking or cars slowing down or whatever. Now that you've established a 2 seconds gap, which is on a dry weather, in a wet weather it's 4 seconds gap, which is going to be even more. Once you have kept a good gap, and now this van is slowing down too much, and in your test you have decided to overtake this vehicle. So from the test perspective, you need to check your right mirror, center and right mirror, that who's behind you and who's beside you. You need to check your center and right mirror, and then if there's nobody in the opposite direction, let's say if it's a 2-lane road and there's nobody coming from the opposite direction, you can simply overtake this vehicle and then come back in your lane. Now, there's a situation over here. If you are driving and if you don't check your right mirror, then you will not be able to see who is on your right side. And if this vehicle is going really, if this vehicle is coming really fast, and if you don't check your mirror, which your examiner will be looking at you when you overtake, the first thing he will be looking at is whether you've checked your mirrors or not. And if you haven't checked your mirrors, and if you're chaining the lane to this one, and if this car gets really close, he will just get your steering wheel, pull you back into your lane, and that would be a serious fault in your test. And in your real life, it could be a collision because the examiner won't be there with you. So the examiner won't be there with you. It could be a collision right at this particular point. In your test, you've got a serious fault, and in your real life, you've got a collision. It could be a serious injury or it could be a minor injury. So you see, the examiners don't hate you. They are looking at you whether you are a safe driver or not, and that is what they want you to show, that you are driving safely. How you can do it? Very simple. You check your mirror. If the car is behind you and beside you, or if you've got safe gap from them, you pop the right signal. When you give the right signal, most of the time these people on the right hand side, they get an idea that you want to change the lane, and most of the times the drivers normally slow down, and then you can easily come into this lane and overtake this vehicle and come back. That's an important point now over here, that when you overtake a vehicle, try and do it as soon as possible within the limit. You don't have to overtake by going over the limit. So once you see you've checked your center and right mirror, there's a safe gap here, you overtake and come back in your lane. That if you're driving very slow over here, and if you're slowly overtaking this vehicle, the chances are, if there's a vehicle coming from this side, say for example, if this vehicle is coming from that direction and you are driving really slow overtaking this vehicle, then at this particular point, what's going to happen? serious fault, in real life, possible collision or an accident. So you need to make sure that you overtake this vehicle as soon as possible and come back in your lane. This is two-lane pattern over here where the oncoming car, where the opposite direction the oncoming cars are coming. If it's a two-lane pattern there and two-lane pattern over here, then remember this lane is an overtaking lane. Sorry. So this is an overtaking lane. You should not, under any circumstances, should be driving in an overtaking lane. You overtake the vehicle, come back in your lane, which is the most appropriate lane to drive. Because if you keep on carrying on driving in an overtaking lane at slower speed, you will be causing congestion. So, considering that this is an oncoming, this is an opposite direction, and this is where you're going, when you are obviously overtaking a vehicle, make sure you overtake safely. That's very, very important. In your real life, when you drive in the car, overtaking is a crucial part because you will be overtaking on the motorways, you will be overtaking on single or dual carriageways, anywhere you are. But in your driving test, overtaking sometimes could be very tricky. It's really, really hard to overtake and then control your vehicle in your driving test. But what I would advise you to do is practice overtaking video trainer. So keep watching this series because this is going to be a very, very interesting series. Keep watching. This is going to help you massively in passing your test. And believe it or not, if you just avoid these simple serious faults, you just get I tell you what, just make a list of those serious faults which a driver can make. And these are one of the big ones which I'm telling you in this series. Make a note of those and practice this in your training, how to avoid them, and then you'll be able to pass with flying colors. So until the next video, I hope this video helped you out. Send me your comments. Let me know if there are any more videos you want me to make, which videos you want me to make, and I'll make those videos. Until then, take care. Goodbye.